This is a self-playing presentation about the 360-degree feedback survey, which is provided by MySkillsProfile. The presentation takes just over 15 minutes. In this presentation, we will look at the purpose of the 360-degree feedback survey, and what MySkillsProfile's leadership skills survey measures. You should keep in mind that our default leadership framework can be adapted. We will describe how the 360-degree feedback survey works, people's roles and responsibilities, and we will look at some forms and emails, and the feedback report. In the final part of the presentation, we will look at good practice. 360-degree feedback has a number of goals. At the individual level, the aim is to provide a rich picture of a person's job performance, style, personal competencies, and skills, based on information from themselves and their work circle. Their work circle includes bosses, direct reports, and peers. The survey is designed to show areas where the person and their work circle agree, and any areas of disagreement, for example, hidden strengths and blind spots. 360-degree feedback should also produce greater awareness of managers' expectations of direct reports, and direct reports' expectations of managers. And it should lead to improved communication about, and understanding of, the capabilities teams and the organization as a whole need to achieve their goals. Finally, 360 feedback should improve learning and development, and it should improve individual and organizational performance. It is important that people taking part in 360-degree feedback understand the purpose and outcomes. The default 360 survey measures 25 competencies, covering 5 key areas of management and leadership. The 5 key areas are: managing change, planning and organizing, interpersonal skills, results orientation, and leadership. These areas, and the elements within each area, can be adapted to assess different sets of competencies. For example, we can adapt the survey for organizations that have different frameworks for different types of job, and/or different seniority levels. This slide illustrates the format, and some of the contents, of the default survey. For example, you can see that the key area called Managing Change is made up of 5 elements: initiative, risk-taking, creativity and innovation, adaptability and strategic thinking. There is a short description of each competency element. In the survey, the employee/person being assessed rates themselves against these competencies using a 5-point scale. The people assessing the job holder rate the employee using the same survey. This is a simplified overview of how a 360-degree feedback survey works. The first step in any 360-degree feedback implementation is to clarify the purpose and operation of the survey, and how the results will be used. Once this has been completed, the survey begins by the 360-degree administrator sending emails to the people being assessed. This email contains a link, which takes the participant to the survey forms. Participants complete 2 forms. In the first form, they rate their performance against the survey criteria. In the second form, they enter the names and details of the colleagues who are going to assess them. It is important that participants secure the agreement of the colleagues who are going to assess them before they go online to complete the survey forms. Once the forms have been completed, the system will email assessors, inviting them to complete the survey, and giving a completion target. The system sends reminder emails to assessors who do not do the survey. The survey software generates reports on the agreed date. These reports can be emailed to the survey administrator, or to the participant, or to both. The final step in a 360-degree feedback implementation is usually review and action planning. 360-degree surveys have the greatest impact where there is clarity about different people's roles and responsibilities. In a typical 360-degree feedback implementation, roles and responsibilities can be summarized as follows. At a strategic level, it is the role of the HR department to ensure that everyone taking part understands the purpose of the survey, how the results will be used, and what support is available. HR need to set the context, communicate with stakeholders, and ensure that feedback discussions, action planning, and follow-up take place. At the operational level, the survey administrator needs to ensure that the process runs smoothly, people get technical support when they need it, and participants get their feedback reports. It is the responsibility of the person being assessed, to identify assessors and obtain their agreement, and to complete forms accurately. It is also their responsibility to handle critical feedback in a positive fashion and act on it. Assessors need to be willing to provide candid ratings and constructive suggestions for improvement. Direct reports should be encouraged to do this, as research shows that direct reports tend to be lenient with their bosses. Finally, it is the responsibility of the participants' manager to ensure that the results are discussed, learning and development actions are agreed, and follow-up action takes place. This is what the online survey looks like. The person being assessed and their assessors complete the same survey. Each competency item is assessed on a 5-point scale, from outstanding strength to critical improvement area. There are also text boxes for the assessors to offer comments on ratings, and give ideas and suggestions for performance improvement. This is the form that a participant completes, once he or she has identified and secured the agreement of assessors. The person being assessed enters the name, email address, and role of each assessor. A maximum of 10 assessors need to be entered in one go. Any additions or changes to the assessors can only be made by the survey administrator. Clearly, it is essential that email addresses are entered accurately. The feedback report has 4 sections. The first section has a 1-page introduction with some general advice on how to interpret the results. The second section illustrated here provides a summary of the participants' results. The third section shows the spread of ratings from coworkers, and the fourth section lists the comments and suggestions the assessors made. The summary chart uses red, amber, green traffic light ratings to indicate different levels of competence. The gray Y box shows how the participant evaluated their competence in the area in question. The O box shows the average rating of all the assessors. The left column cells provide concise descriptions of the participant's level of competence, indicating the level of agreement between how he or she rated their skills, and how the assessors have rated them. The participants' competencies and skills are classified into different categories, depending on whether there is agreement or disagreement between participant and assessor ratings. For example, the term outstanding strength indicates that all agree that performance is very high. A hidden outstanding strength occurs when the assessors have evaluated the area in question as an outstanding strength, and the person being assessed has given a more modest assessment. A blind spot is when the participant has a significantly more positive view of their performance and skills than their coworkers. This is an extract of the third section of the report, which shows the spread of assessor ratings. The gray bar indicates the participant's rating, and the black bar is the average assessor rating. P indicates a rating by a peer. D indicates a rating by a direct report. B indicates a rating by a boss. This means that the results are only partly anonymous. If it is important for the results to be totally anonymous, the report can be edited by a word processor. The Center for Creative Leadership has published a short guide on 360-degree feedback best practices, based on a review of the literature. This guide, which is available from the CCL website, makes recommendations in 6 areas. In brief, the guide recommends that it is important to 1. Clarify the purpose for every member of the organization. 2. Clarify assessor anonymity, accountability, and selection. 3. Prepare participants for the process. 4. Help participants review and interpret their results. 5. Ensure participants develop action plans. And 6. Follow up participants' progress. This brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening. For more information, Visit MySkillsProfile.